We love our badass MCs in anime, but it gets so much better when they're incredibly lazy and generally can't be bothered. Unless they're tested or pushed to the limits in an epic fight and we finally get to see just how overpowered and badass they really are. Welcome back to Animeology. We'll be covering the absolute greatest anime series with a lazy main character that is secretly a complete badass. Number 10, Children of the Whales. A really fantastic mix of both science fiction and fantasy. Children of the Whales is not the traditional sort of anime that focuses on action and fights. This is an anime series that chooses to focus itself on some exceptionally well-written characters and a world that we have literally never seen before, leading to some interesting plot developments. The series focuses on a boy by the name of Chakuro. Chakuro spends his days on a giant ship by the name of the Mud Whale as it slowly drifts around a huge sea of sand. There is a major class divide on this ship, two groups of people. Some are more privileged than others, the marked and the unmarked. The marked can move objects with their mind through the use of this strange power called themia. The rest of the people on the ship have no such power. Chakuro and his friends spend their days out stuck on the ship, never actually having met anyone from the outside world or even really having left the ship. Their whole lives are filled with the desire to leave the ship and explore the rest of the world. The very first episode starts off with the Mud Whale coming across a lonely and empty island with a single girl on it, starting off a crazy adventure that you definitely need to check out for yourself. Number 9, Alderman on the Sky. As opposed to the traditional fantasy series, this anime brings a far more focused and deadpan military perspective towards the traditionally relaxed and lighthearted world of fantasy. Alderman on the Sky is a fresh and unique mixture of genres that is definitely eager to take on some huge risks when dealing with characters and the entire overarching story. The main hero here is Ikta Solark, an extremely brilliant and highly intelligent war strategist that despises war, fighting, and violence. One of the coolest MCs you will ever come across. Many claim that Ikta is extremely lazy, although we soon come to realize that Ikta has a pretty downward and depressed outlook on life and is not afraid to express his opinion. Generally very relaxed to a point that he is definitely lazy, but when he needs to be, the real badass comes out. Very blunt and truthful, maintaining a character like Ikta at the core of this series is what made it such a brilliant anime series and seriously underrated. A great lover of older women and somewhat difficult to get along with, you know there's going to be a lot of laughs and enjoyed downtime in between. A brilliant watch from start to end, you should definitely check out this series. Number 8, Sir Vamp. It's rare to come across a series that really fleshes out some very interesting and engaging characters while putting them in some unique and fresh situations that had us constantly guessing what would happen next. Sir Vamp locks in on the high schooler Mahiru Shirota, a simple and very basic student that lives a humble and relatively unknown existence. The series kicks off when one day on the walk back home from school, our hero encounters a black cat. Mahiru is shocked when he realizes that the black cat was actually one of the 7 vampires that represents the 7 deadly sins. This cat represents sloth that turns into a cat when in the sunlight. As you can imagine, extremely lazy at first appearance, but when the cute kitty is tested, we begin to realize just how badass it really is. Through giving the vampire a name and bell and calling him by his name, a temporary contract is accidentally struck and a master and servant vampire relationship is formed and kicks off a brilliant anime must-watch. Number 7, Plunderer. Set in a world of epic action and high fantasy, Plunderer takes us into a brilliantly designed post-apocalyptic planet that is ruled by ratings and numbers. Literally, every single person throughout the world of Plunderer is measured and imprinted with a number located somewhere on their body. This number is a count that indicates the value of that person. This number can relate to anything, a person's skill at any ability. However, as that number reduces and drops to 0, The person gets dragged into the abyss and remains dead for all eternity. A really horrible fate. The series follows Hina, walking around in the search for her mother that was dragged into the abyss, as well as a legendary warrior that was her mother's dying wish. But the story really kicks off when she meets a strange masked knight with a negative numbered count. A negative count of 1001 should have been dragged into the abyss a long time ago. What does his count measure? The number of times he got rejected by girls, of course. A really odd and interesting world that had us hooked from the very first moment. Plunderer starts to slowly reveal more and more about the awesome setting, which ultimately becomes a character in itself. Number 6. Juni Tyson, Zodiac War. A brilliant series with a strong core focus means that literally every single episode feels driven and to the point. There isn't much in terms of filler or poorly written arcs. Zodiac War knows exactly where it's going and how to get there. We learn of 12 of the deadliest and most vicious warriors that are all closely linked to the Chinese zodiac. These killers face off and battle each other every 12 years, but this battle tournament is unlike any we have ever seen. Insanely merciless battle in which survival at any means, literally any means. We follow the Rat, the insane ability to experience and run through 100 realities. This process is extremely exhausting and our MC comes across as sleepy and lazy, although we soon learn just how badass our hero really is. Number 5. Grimoire of Zero. It's rare to come across a pure high fantasy series that is dedicated to this genre. A lot more mature and definitely more serious than most anime series out there, Grimoire of Zero is an anime that definitely rewards long-term fans more than anything. The series itself is set across a medieval type setting of witches, wizards, magic, and sorcery. We begin to learn of a world that has accepted magic but doesn't really understand how to use it to its full potential. This is a pretty interesting and unique take on world building. We find a daydreaming and extremely lazy MC, half man and half beast, an outcast of society, although he has dreams of one day becoming a human. The story kicks off with our hero encountering a witch and looking to use her to transform from a beast into a full human. She offers him the ability to become a full human, but only if he helps her on an epic quest to locate power and a magical tome, an old and mythical artifact that could potentially result in a lot of danger if it were to fall into the wrong hands. Number 4. King of Nabari. An absolutely brilliant blend of martial arts and the supernatural. King of the Nabari is one of the slickest anime series out there right now. A brilliant manga and a long-running anime series, there is definitely a lot to sink your teeth into. We follow Miharu Rokujo, an apathetic, uncaring, and relatively lazy school student. One day, our hero comes across and is saved by the mysterious ninjas. We soon learn of powerful ninja arts and dangerous clans that all look to kill our hero and get a hold of this insane art that he knows. With no chance of returning back to his normal peaceful life, our hero has no choice but to get wrapped up in this epic adventure and tale of rivaling clans. Number 3. Gate. A brilliant fantasy series that is a lot more realistic and down to earth than most isekai and fantasy that we see around the anime space. The Gate series has seen an insane level of success through a number of mediums from manga, anime, and even light novel form. There is an incredibly strong backstory and world building behind it, with the anime series really shining through with the overpowered MC that is Yuji Itami. The story itself kicks off with a strange portal appearing one day in modern day Tokyo and letting loose an army of medieval soldiers and monsters. The people of Earth are scared, but by using our modern weapons and tactics, humans' armed forces are easily able to fight back the forces into the portal and set up a base in order to talk about peace and learn more about the magical fantasy world that has decided to attack us through the portal. Our MC, Yuji Itami, is a young armed forces officer that has been sent into the portal and operates in the isekai world. This is a world where dragons and elves and many magical fantasy beasts exist. The Gate series follows Yuji through countless exciting adventures through the Gate, from encountering ancient dragons and helping out imperial princesses. Number 2. Hinamatsuri. A brilliant comedy and slice of life series that will have you rolling on the floor laughing. An awesome series that has a pretty unique premise and an enjoyable episode by episode story that'll leave you wanting more. We follow a mid-level Yakuza member that has his entire life thrown into upset when he has a strange girl from the future literally fall onto his head for no reason. By the name of Hina, we soon learn that this mysterious girl has some incredible and unbelievably powerful psychokinetic powers. The series starts to develop these really cute father and daughter relationships, but the whole world around our MC start to change as the arrival of Hina starts to affect everyone around the city, and we start to see the arrival of more girls from the future that are looking to take her back or kill her. Number 1. Classroom of the Elite. Honestly, such a fantastic series with a number of key features that mark an anime of the highest quality. It is no surprise that Classroom of the Elite shall one day be considered a modern anime classic. An interesting take on the classic high school anime backstory. The series is set in a realistic future with some key sci-fi notes behind it. We learn of a world in which the Japanese government has set up special schools. These schools train people that aim to support the country in the future and are basically given a lot of freedom to do literally whatever they want. Our hero is an MC that is quiet and shy that really has no friends and just keeps to himself. He comes across as lazy, but after a while, we start to realize just how much of a badass he really is. Slowly, we start to learn that our MC is actually extremely unmotivated and intentionally scores low marks. He's actually really intelligent and could aim to be in the top class if he wanted to. Although he doesn't really work out or go to the gym, he's actually really fit and a fantastic fighter.